Hello and welcome to my another lesson, and in today's lesson I'm going to discuss another poem. The name of the poem is My Mother at 66 by Kamala, and I shall discuss the complete summary of the poem and detailed explanation of the poem along with meanings of certain difficult words. Also, the explanation is followed by a summary of the poem and literary devices used in this poem. So I hope this lesson will help you for your better preparation. So without wasting times, let's start today's lesson and listen my explanation very carefully. So at very first, let us know about the poet of this poem. The name of the poet is Kamala. She born in the year of 1934 and she died in the year of 2009. She was born in Malabar. The Malabar is the name of a place. It is in Kerala. She is recognized as one of the India's foremost poets. Her works are known for their originality, versatility, and the indigenous flavor of the soil. She has published many novels and short stories. She wrote under the pen name Madhavi Kutty. So Madhavi Kutty is the pen name of Kamala. So she was also a widely read and columnist and wrote on diverse topics including women's issues, child care, politics, amongst others, etc. So these were the prime subjects for her writings, Kamala's writings. My Mother at 66, this title of the poem itself, it is very suggestive. It tells us that this poem is about the relationship between the poet and her mother. This poem is completely about her mother, and actually this poet is about her mother. So My Mother at 66 is written by Kamala. So we already know these things, who is famous for capturing complexities of human relationship. So we will see in this poem the human relationship, the relationship between a mother and a daughter. The poem My Mother at 66 is one of the finest examples of human bonding, that bonding between a daughter and a mother, especially that of a mother and daughter. It describes the pain and fear of the poet, the Kamala. What's the fear? The fear of losing her mother due to the harsh reality of life, which is death. So the poet Kamala, she was afraid that she may lose her mother. Her mother may die very soon because she is growing old. Every day she is proceeding towards her death. So this is one of her fear that reign in her heart. Whose heart? The heart, in the heart of poets Kamala. The poet in this poem describes her mother. She says that she is 66 years old and looks very weak and old. When the poet was returning from her parents' home and was on the way to the airport, her mother was accompanying her. She noticed her mother, who was sitting with her at the back seat of the car. She was sleeping with her mouth wide open. Her face was the color of ash. It looked lifeless. This very thought disturbed her so much that she diverted her mind and looked outside the car. She saw the trees by the roadside which seemed to be running. There were young children running into the playground. All this symbolized life, energy, and happiness in contrast to her mother's appearance. When she reached the airport, she again looked at her ailing mother, who looked old and dull like the weak moon in the winter season. The poet was surrounded by the same fear that she had during her childhood, the fear of losing her mother. She thought that maybe this was the last time that she saw her mother alive. Her mother was about to die, but then she tried to come out of the sadness and smiled at her. She said that soon she would see her again. The poet wanted to be with her mother again and did not want to lose her. So, this is the short summary of the poem, just I explained. So now we will go line by line or stanza by stanza. We will discuss the complete poem, the difficult words you may find in that poem, and the other rhyming sections and the literary device used in this poem. So we shall discuss all the things in details. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me. The poet explains that once she visited her parents' house in Cochin. Cochin is the name of a place. So she visited her parents' house. Where his parents' house? Her parents' house in Cochin. It was a Friday, and in that Friday morning, when she was driving back to the airport, her mother was sitting beside her at the back of the car. The poet looked at her mother. Doze, open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse and released with pain. So in this two line, you may find 2-3 words are difficult for you. So I'm telling the meaning of those words. Like doze. Doze means nap or short sleep. Ashen means pale or something faded. Corpse means dead body. So the poet saw that her mother was sleeping and her mouth was quite open. She further explains that the color of her mother's face was like that of a ash, means her mother's face is slowly fading away. The glow of her face is vanishing. This means that there was some smoky appearance on her face, means on the poet's mother's face. She looked like a dead body. So the poet's mother's face is compared with a dead body. So how dead body looks like pale or faded after the death of a person's, the complete body gets faded. So in the same way, the poet's mother face also fading away, slowly is fading away as her age is growing. The color and glow of her face is also vanishing slowly. So that's why the poet's mother is compared with a corpse, means a dead body. That she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. So here the meaning of some certain words are like spilling. Spilling means let out very quickly, coming out from somewhere very quickly. And sprinting means moving fast. So the poet Kamala realized that her mother had grown old. She felt pain for her. But soon she tried to get rid of this sadness thought by diverting her thoughts towards the trees outside. The young trees, although stationary, seemed to be running very fast, as though they were sprinting. Sprinting means moving fast. Those trees were going backwards. She was traveling through a car, and those trees were going backwards. So it seems that trees are running very fast. She also saw children running out of their houses into the playground. All these things were full of life and energy, on the contrary to her mother, who sat next to her. So we can see here two images. One is that young trees, the full of life, those merry children means happy children. So one side we can see very energetic life, very happy life, young generations, young life, and in another sides we can see the poet's mother, who is growing old, who is fading away day by day, who is proceeding towards death. But after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, one pale. So here the meaning of the two words, I'm again saying the one, W-A-N. One means dim or weak. Pale means dull or colorless. So the poet continues that when she reached the airport, she finished with the security check and stood a few yards away from her mother. Few yards means 1 year is equal to 3 feet. Maybe few yards means 2 or 3 yards, maybe 6 feet away from her mother. So she noticed her mother's aging face, which looked so dull, weak and pale. Okay, so she can see that her mother's face, it's fading away, and she is growing old. She had a fear in her heart that she may lose her mother. Maybe this is the last time she is seeing her mother alive. After that, maybe she won't be able to see her mother again alive. So she had a fear in her heart. As a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. All I did was smile and smile and smile. The poet compares her mother to a late winter's moon, as the moon in winters is not shining, and even her mother's face had also lost her youth and shine. In the winter season, we cannot see the full bright moon because of the fogs and the mist. In the same way, the poet's mother's face also lost that brightness, that charm, and that shine from her face, as her mother was getting older and weak. That's why she lost that shine from her face. The poet feels the fear of separation, just as she used to feel during her childhood. So that's why here it is saying that familiar ache means pain. Okay, ache means pain. So my childhood's fear. So she had the same fear when she was child. What fear? That she may lose her mother. So that same fear again struck in her heart. So that's why that poet feels the fear of separation, just as she used to feel during her childhood. As a child, she could not bear the pain of separating from her mother. But now, as her mother has grown old and is about to die, the poet feels that maybe this is the last time that she is seeing her mother. She tries to hide her fear. Somehow, deliberately, she suppressed her pain or fear. She then says that she would soon see her mother again. She says so because she doesn't want to lose her mother, or she doesn't want to show her pain to her mother. She doesn't want to show her fear that she had in her heart. She doesn't want to show to her mother. That's why she smiled and smiled, and she said, "See you soon, Amma, that we shall meet again soon." So this was the short and complete summary of this poem, the poem My Mother at 66. Now let's see the literary devices, the rhyming schemes that has used in this poem. So literary device is used is simile. What is simile? Simile is two dissimilar objects or concept are compared with one another through the use of like, like or as. So here mother's face is compared to the late winter's moon or the crops. So this late winter's moon and crops and the mother's face, these three are complete different objects. So first the poet Kamala Das used this crops compared with the poet's mother's face and crops. So these crops and the poet mother's face both are different objects, and later on she again compares her mother's face with late winter's moon. So late winter's moon and her mother's face. So these are also the two different objects. So this is called simile. So in this poem, the poet Kamala Das has used this literary device, or poetic device, we can say, this the simile. And rhyming schemes, the poem does not follow any rhyme or rhythm. It has been written in a free verse. In a modern poet, they don't follow any rhyming schemes. So we call this is a free verse or verse libre. Thank you all for listening me. So here is the end of today's lesson. So if you like my video, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you have any queries or doubts, you can ask me. You can post your doubts and queries in my comment sections. I shall try to clarify your all doubts and queries. Thank you once again. Thank you all.